again, I admire that you were able to get it funded, get it through, be able to lift their voices as you have, and then, to go on to get nominated for an award, which it deserves. After watching it, it was very riveting, and I'm sure, as more and more people watch it in the United States, it will get galvanize more of an audience.
Yeah.
And we both know, for instance, how whistleblowers are treated, like Julian Assange, for instance, right?
Yes,
Who
yes.
is
I
in
mean,
Belmarsh prison
yeah.
and now facing 175 years in U.S. prison for, for the Espionage Act, even though he's an Australian citizen, simply because he was a publisher and a journalist, and he did his job. And much of his journalism was then recycled through the New York Times and Washington Post as valid, and they knew it was valid. So it's not even saying he was invalid. So when
Oh,
you
and I
see
just wanted
whistleblowers,
to,
go
sorry,
ahead.
I just wanted to interject only on the one thing, because I thought you might find this quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get it funded by a traditional route. So we took the idea, even when we had Rose,
Mm-hmm.
who was in the middle, the Weinstein case we were at the middle when I first got her. He hadn't even gone to trial yet. And so
Right.
the Me Too movement was really kicking off. And
Uh-huh.
I took this to every channel and I said, we've got the Oxfam whistleblower, the Iraq War whistleblower, and Rose McGowan. And
Right.
every single channel said no. No
Wow.
one wanted to fund it. So really early on, we were being shut down. No
Hmm.
one, and was like, I think I'm just trying to think of a way to say no to you. That's what one person at a major channel in the
Wow.
UK said. And I just thought, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up having to self-fund it because for me it was just more important to get. By this time I'd already filmed most of the women's interviews, and I just
Mhm.
wanted, I felt like I absolutely owed it to them because they'd put their heart and soul into talking to me, and I couldn't not see it through by getting this film made and out. So we just decided to put some money into it and get it finished and get it out over the line. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to make that, I think it's a
I
really
think that's
important
really
point.
important. That I'm
Yeah.
sure that people want to know about grassroots funding, and that's very. I mean, that's from. I mean, you had to directly fund your work, your creative work. That must have been challenging, to say the least.
Yeah.
But you did it, and with such integrity. I think that's great. As far as, as whistleblowers, oftentimes they sometimes get taken advantage of, and people make money from them. And I know Rose McGowan is a good example of how, like, for instance, New York Times got a Pulitzer off of her, right, off the reporting about her, and used her as clickbait. How many papers did they sell using her name, and other, and that happened to me, of course. They did hit pieces on me. How many times did they use me as clickbait and make a bunch of money, whereas I was destitute, lost my housing, I lost everything coming forward. So when you showed a lot of integrity by just pulling together the funding and put together this film. Two questions for you. First of all, why do you think there was such resistance for funding it from an outside source? First question. Second question is, how economically your whistleblowers, how were they faring after they came forward, you know, and what did you see?
So I had a lot of, I couldn't figure out, I couldn't figure out why no one wanted to fund it. I just, for me, it was commercial enough. We had it was a hot topic. We were the right company to make it. I just couldn't figure out why they said no one wanted to touch it. And I still don't know. I've got maybe one or two suspicions. Like there's some
Mm-hmm.
voices that broadcasters never really want to be heard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and channels, networks, they're owned by private companies and bigger
Mm-hmm.
companies that have bigger influences. And it seemed to be really, there was a major channel in the UK that I'd spoken to the first line of commissioning. And the guy was like, I love this. This is absolutely brilliant. I definitely want this. And I was like, amazing. This is great. This is going to be great for the film. And then he took it to the board, and someone on the board clearly had a problem with someone in the film, because he just kept on getting knocked back. It was a no, a no, a no. It was never a clear answer as to why it was a no, but it went from, and this happened twice, two major channels. It went from a, we're going to love this, oh, we've taken it higher up, and they've said no. So yeah, we just couldn't figure out why. The women, there was no remuneration for anyone really. I pretty much did it for free. The women in the film did it for charity, donated any of their money to charity, and that's money that we might see from sales because it's really minimal. So yeah, there was everyone that did it, everyone, like my cameraman to the animator, everyone did it for the cause. Wow. Really, they really felt passionate about, in particular, the abuse stories that Helen and Rose were discussing. And I think that just mattered a lot to the crew, who were just so generous and kind with their time. You know, I don't know if we'll ever make our money back, but it kind of doesn't matter, because I'm more bothered about people seeing it and people treating whistleblowers differently. I just think there wasn't that film out there, and now there is, and I'm glad for it. And people like Rose is such an incredible human being. Rose and Helen and Katharine, undoubtedly they're incredible women. They're incredible people that spoke up. And Rose in particular has just suffered a lot. And as you said, you know, how much she's helped you, how much she's helped so many people, the amount of people that I've seen her support, and you know, on Twitter, and call people out. And actually people, you know, you can see members of the public hugely appreciate that truth being told. But I think, unfortunately, you know, it gets to her. It gets to, she can be a target unnecessarily and unfortunately. And you know, I think actually she should be on a pedestal, because she is a great human being. And there's been a lot of media, the Weinstein media in particular, were very good at portraying her as something that she wasn't. And when you meet her, as you know, when you see how much support and how lovely and generous she is, and how supportive she's been to not only other actresses in Hollywood, but as you said, anyone that's spoken up, then you really get to see what a genuine person she is. And I was speaking to a friend the other day about her, and I just said, look, she just has the truth in her. She desperately wants that out. And I feel like saying to Rose, like, all right, you're done now, just look after yourself, and just go and have a nice life and look after yourself, because you've helped everyone. You know, I don't know what more you can do. And like you lifted the lid on a huge subject, and that to open a Pandora's box takes its toll personally, but the world, you know, will one day thank you for it properly. But what you're going to have to go through between now and then is a lot, and you shouldn't have to.
Right, we shouldn't have to. It should be easier for whistleblowers.